Hey, boys and girls, how are you? All right, so this week, CK-12 assignment is titled Measures of Center and Variability. Okay, might be a little more challenging than last week's mean, median, mode, and range. Okay, so let's do a quick review here. Uh, let's talk about those measures of center. All right, first let's quickly review the range. Okay, the range is the simplest measure of spread in data is the range. It is the difference between the max and the minimum value in the data set. Okay, so if Gabby scored this many goals in 7 games, what is the range or spread? So we got to find what is the maximum amount of goals she scored in one game? Well, it's 5. The minimum amount of goals she scored in a game is 1. So we take the maximum value minus the minimum value, and that gives us the range. Okay, and this is where variability comes in. So the more spread out or the higher your range, it means you have a higher variability. Your variability is high. The smaller your range, the low variability in that represents your data set. The variability is low. Okay, so higher the number in the range, the higher you go with your range, the number, the spread, the higher the variability. It just means your data is more spread out. Okay. The mode, you could think of it as the most frequent, that occurs most frequently in the data set. So if we have number of magazines sold, you just look, in this case, in this dot plot, you look at the highest one, and it is 20. And there could be more than one mode. There could be 2 modes, 3 modes, bimodal if there's 2 modes, and multimodal if it's more than 2. The median, this is the middle number of your data set. The tricky thing with median, well, the most important thing, first thing to do when you want to find the median, is ordering the data from least to greatest. So when we do that, here is your data from least to greatest. So the first thing I'd like to do is count how many you have in your data set. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 9. So there's an odd number in my data set. So that means I know that the median is going to be one of these numbers. Okay, so then I start chopping from each side until you get to the middle number. Or you can look at it as, well, I have 4 on this side, 4 on this side, so 92 must be my median. If there's an even number in your data set, it's going to come down to 2 numbers. Let's say that this was an even amount in your data set, and it came down to 90 and 92. Well, you have to find the middle number between 90 and 92, which would be 91. If this was a larger spread here between these 2 numbers, one way to find it is to find the mean. Remember, the mean is the evening out of your data set, so we want to add the numbers. So in this case, we would add 90 and 92, which is 182, and divide by 2, because there's 2 numbers that we added up. So 191, I'm sorry, let me add that up correctly. 182 divided by 2 is 91. All right, so let's get to today's CK-12 assignment. Measures of center and variability. Just remember, measures of center, or central tendency they're called, is a single number used to describe a set of numeric data. It describes a typical value within the data set. The mean and the median are the 2 most common measures of center. The mean, remember, is often called the average. Okay, the measure of variability is a single number used to describe the spread of your data. Okay, so let's take a look at a couple of these interactives here. Okay, so the first one you're gonna have to do is drag the sliders through how different centers or spreads affect the data. So here, you can just kind of play around with it. If you kind of move the center, the measures of center there, and the spread, you'll notice that's getting really small, the spread. Or if you go the other way, so this one would have a higher variability compared to this one. Okay, so we kind of move things around and you're going to have to answer a few questions. All right, I'm going to scroll down and you just have to read through this, answer these questions. Now remember, when you do the interactives, they do not save. So if you do some of the interactives that need to stop, just remember where you left off and pick up right there when you return later. All right, an outlier. This is important. Both the mean and the median can be used to describe a distribution shape and spread. However, sometimes the mean can be influenced by a single value called an outlier. So check this out. So look at this data set here. This data set is has a low variability because the range is not very big. And this cluster here, in your cluster of your data, is where you're going to find the mean, median, and the mode. Notice, the mean is here. Here's the mean. The red dot represents the mean. The median, whoops, is this blue dot right here. You could see that. And obviously the mode is the tallest one. So watch what happens. As we get farther away, as this data starts going this way, notice, look what's happening to the mean. It's getting pulled toward that outlier. And eventually what could happen, and notice the median. Is anything happening to the median? It is not, because we didn't change the number in our data set. It's still the same amount in our data set. We're just playing with one of them, moving it to have you notice that the mean is influenced. It gets pulled toward the outlier. Either way, this happens to be going to the right. It could happen the same thing going to the left. And eventually what could happen, if we get farther out, if we get a big outlier, the mean will get outside of our cluster. So that could happen. So if you have an outlier, the mean can be influenced. And watch, when we go back, you'll notice the mean will get closer and closer and closer. I think earlier I said the red dot was the mean. I misspoke there. It's just showing you that the mean is right on top, the same as the median. And if we go this way, you'll notice the mean, oops, there. Okay. All right, so play around with this, answer the questions, and then from there, we have some more stuff here. Let's get here. Helena, as a sixth grader, competes in the 100-meter hurdles. In 8 track meets during the season, she recorded the following times to the nearest 100th of a second. All right, and this gets into practice of finding the mean, median. All right, and it is okay for you to use a calculator when you're finding the mean. All right, okay, and important, read this. Okay, measures of variability. We're going to get into the MAD at a later point, so don't worry about this right now. Okay, so read through the mean, the median. Okay, vocabulary words, very important vocabulary words. And then go to the practice. And remember, you have to get 10 complete in order to be done. And when you are done, make sure you hit the yellow turn in button. Some kids are forgetting to do that and it's not showing up in the grade book. So make sure you remember to hit the turn in button. Now, when you get to the practice questions, you can do a few of them and hit stop for now, this will save your work. Where remember the interactives will not. You have to remember where you left off. Okay? All right. For now, I'm just going to hit stop for now, even though I didn't answer any. And it will pick up with that same question. I'm just going to exit out of this for now. Okay. All right. And right here, I know it says assign right now, but yours will say in yellow, turn in. So make sure you hit the yellow turn in button. I know mine is green right now, but yours will be yellow and say turn in. All right. Hey, keep working hard. Remember help sessions on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10:30. So if you have any questions with your CK-12, hop on and we can discuss it. All right. Listen, very proud of you guys. Keep working hard, and I will talk to you guys soon.